Hello and welcome to PROMOD's fourth and biggest devlog to date. We're aware of how anticipated the multiplayer portion of our prototype's been, and we'd just like to start by thanking you all for your patience and continued support. The team have worked incredibly hard to make this prototype a reality, and we can't wait to hear what you think. But firstly, let's revisit some of the core aspects that brought PROMOD to reality for those of you new to the project.
Congratulations, you completed the jump map.
Kill Run is a run and gun single player game mode.
We wanted to make an FPS game for ourselves, a game true to form of the mechanics and nuances that we and many of you grew up with.
So it's really important that we reiterate that this is a prototype, not an alpha, not a beta, and definitely not a finished product.
PROMOD is a love letter to the fans who shared our hunger for that explosive, fast-paced alternative to other competitive shooters on the market, and set the groundwork for something truly worth investing in.
In reality, it would take us 5+ years to really create a product that could produce a competitive experience that was capable of breaking into the top 5 esport titles, which would have been the goal for PROMOD.
With that in mind, we had our concerns of releasing something so early we knew was purely experimental. But that hunger you've shown over the last year really made us push harder to get a public build ready for early feedback to take with us moving forward.
But most importantly, we just wanted to follow up on our promise and let you play something we think is the base of something fucking sick.
Where is he? Oh, he's not there.
Regarding maps, we've been experimenting for different modes. Competitive gaming is full of innovative ideas that can coexist within the same ecosystem and open up a realm of possibilities moving forward.
We believe maps should be specifically designed for the mode it's supposed to be played on. Honestly, our respawn mode tests were way better than expected. But ultimately, for this run of testing being so early on, we felt it necessary to focus on demonstrating the core gameplay ideas for our evolved S&D game mode.
We've previously spoken about creating that one-to-one classic mod experience, and then doing what we can to bring those foundations to new heights. We've taken that classic 5v5 elimination game mode and juiced it up for a modern audience. With PROMOD, we've opted for a shorter match length to make every round have a higher impact to the scoreline. With no economy system, there's no need to save your weapon, meaning you should always go for the win no matter the context. With no need to hide, every single round should be played to the apex of your ability.
So if you're capable, you can clutch. This is a no-holds-barred shooter, putting every single player in charge of their performance without feeling hemorrhaged by in-game systems.
We've looked at how we can add more interesting dynamics to round-by-round play. Some of these additions revolve around the objective. Firstly, upon planting the bomb, a collapsing circle will spawn. This causes minor damage to all those caught within and guides the player towards the objective, increasing engagements across the board. Although this is a large addition to an objective game mode, the purpose of this is to remove any overpowered cross-map post-plant sightlines which are common with this type of game's level design, making for a fairer and more intense experience.
With the bomb in mind, we've built on the idea of situational planting and created a new way for the bomb to play with different plant times for different playstyles.
Players can now choose what's better for them and their team in the moment by choosing to plant silently and prone, or make noise and sacrifice vital information for a shorter plant time.
Planted A.
Communication between you and your team has never been more important.
Shootout.
Ever committed to a full game only for it to end in a draw? We think that's boring, and players should have a choice to redeem themselves in an ultimate combat mode.
This is a competitive game. No one wants to draw. You should always be playing to win. Shootout brings a new meaning to sudden death in this true 1v1 experience to put your skills to the test when it really matters.
Players will step up and face off against the opposing team in a one-life, winner-stays-on game-deciding mode. With mirrored weapon matchups and randomized player order, any one teammate can rescue the game and clinch victory for their side.
Try not to let the pressure get to you and your team in this clutch or be clutch decider.
Oh. Fair enough. Forgot he had a kid then for a sec. Get out! Oh my god!
Now let's take a look at some of the maps you'll be playing on, Sector and Construct.
Never mind, I'm sorry, mate. Nice! Red! 15%.
We know these maps aren't perfect, but they will show our intention of designing creative, open play spaces that still adhere to competitive level design. These aren't your standardized linear 3-lane maps that you will find in other competitive titles. Players will need to adapt, react, and use their utility on the fly to successfully gain map control on both attack and defense.
Smoke and frag grenades come standard to any tactical utility, and when playing Eternally we wanted more ways to mix it up, so we've added a bunch of extra tactical options to vary gameplay and playstyles for competitive play that let you style on your opponents. You want to hit that round-winning axe from across the map? You can.
Want to trap your opponents and watch them burn? You can.
Want to stop boring post-plant utility lineups and exploding cars? You can.
So there's something here for everyone, no matter your skill level, to help you succeed. So talking about more ways to play, one of the things that we've been working on is increasing and embracing this idea of pop-off potential. Those moments where you're in a complete flow state and pull off the unthinkable. The kind of plays that set spectators on fire. And because of this, we've made another huge addition to your toolset that we're calling fire-ups.
Junction.
Fire-ups open new ways to play whilst raising the skill ceiling. A new part of the player kit to really give you an edge when you really need it. We've had some serious fun making and testing these fire-ups, and the outplay potential we've experienced has really taken PROMOD to another level. Understandably, this comes as one of our bigger changes to the classic formula, but we can't wait to see how you use them in ways we couldn't have even imagined.
But don't worry, because in PROMOD, shooting still matters.
Oh, yeah.
We've always said that we've wanted to deviate away from one-to-one PROMOD and evolve the game, so we've made these minor changes to tweak the formula. First of all, time to kill. Time to kill has now been slightly increased across the board to help with player survivability in a one-life mode. In other games, a melee attack may well kill in one hit. This is something that we wanted to keep but not make a primary mechanic so as not to take away from the gunfights. To combat this, we've added Weapon Bash alongside equipable knives. The Weapon Bash acts as a quick melee attack that requires 2 hits to kill, while the knife requires a more tactical approach.
Oh my god.
Slide has been added to increase movement options, and let me tell you, it feels great. We expect you to hop, slide, and be strafing around in no time. Because of this movement change, we'll be resetting the leaderboards for both kill run and jumper for those of you with a need for speed.
We've removed lean from PROMOD. Lean brings a lot of issues, especially with PROMOD being designed as a cross-platform movement-based shooter. We wanted to try the game without the option to lean, to see your feedback firsthand. We honestly felt like it's best to test these changes with the community feedback focus, and in cases like this, having the band-aid ripped off just to see how it plays.
Currently, PROMOD doesn't have the level of competitive integrity we want or expect, but this is a prototype, and it wasn't built to be taken to the finish line. It was built to pave the way for something much better. Aaron and the team will be attentive to reports and investigating at our discretion with a zero-tolerance policy. We'll be banning any trouble causers across the board to create a safe space for all players involved. So to help us combat this, please play with your friends or people you trust.
PROMOD's multiplayer prototype will feature a public server browser instead of matchmaking, so players can join and leave games as they see fit without the fear of queues. We're also very excited to announce that with the help of our friends at FS Host, players will be able to host their own private servers for the weekend of testing. We'll be uploading a small guide on how to do that closer to the 2nd.
We've always opted for transparency when communicating with players. PROMOD was started as a passion project, and it took flight when players showed real interest in what we were making. But nobody at Bulkhead is interested in developing subpar indie shooters anymore. We want to go toe to toe with some of the top shooters in the industry. And to do that, we need to incubate PROMOD. That means we'll be keeping a small team building out the core technologies and systems required to be a top 5 competitive shooter. This will unfortunately take years. But we're still young, we're still early in our careers, and thanks to all of you and many of our colleagues in the industry who have stuck with us through thick and thin, we have a bright future ahead of us. While we all wait for PROMOD to turn into the game we know it can be, we'll be working on another project of ours that we've had down on paper for years now. We're beginning to work on another first-person shooter called War Dogs, where we fuse together our slick, responsive movement and gunplay with Hollywood realism seen in games like Battlefield, and finally with a completely underrated game mode where cash is king of the hill. Follow War Dogs on Twitter to keep an eye on our journey, where as always, we're openly developing the game. For now, thank you for your support. Enjoy the PROMOD prototype, and we'll see you on the servers.